At the time Project Fear met Cody and Satori, there was no public skepticism. They claimed to have a unique ability to contact the dead by licking their hand and reciting the letters of the alphabet in response to traveling footsteps around them.
Can you come down here? Can you come to this floor?
Yeah. Hi.
Project Fear even had dead relatives reach out through Cody and Satori, which left a lot of unanswered questions internet-wide. Shortly after, Sam and Colby released a video with Cody and Satori trying to debunk their method. Also, after receiving messages from relatives in the afterlife, they changed their footwear and went to an undisclosed location only to receive a message from a spirit significant to the area. Project Fear attends a convention in New Jersey where this paranormal couple is in attendance and decides to take the opportunity to ask them the hard questions.
There's like a couple of videos out there, people like filming their feet and like doing something in their shoe and it's making like a tapping noise. Would you guys be willing to do the session with your shoes off and your socks off? Right now we are in New Jersey and we are attending the New Jersey Para-Unity Convention. And it's been about a month since we filmed at the Conjuring house. We did the video, and you guys hadn't had the Sam and Colby video out.
Yeah.
They just came out with their video like 2 weeks ago, and you guys have had so much like attention. Cody and Satori, like take us through the day that you realized that you had this capability, this ability, and like how did it happen?
Okay, so a lot of people ask us that question, and to answer it on accident, we didn't know we could do any of this beforehand. I mean, now looking back on it, we're noticing some things in our lives could have led up to this moment, but definitely didn't have the kind of communication we had until we first met, August of 2018.
Yep. And then we get to the location, and Satori and I, of course, are teamed up right away because we were the closest in age, and we thought the place was really active. We had a lot of knocking sounds, there were some lights flickering. We're like, wow, this is really cool. Mm-hmm. And then eventually the rest of the team is like, wait a minute, maybe you guys should go off and experiment with this, because it seems to only be happening when you two are working together and around each other. So we went to a private residence case and we stayed up the entire night just kind of experimenting.
You guys obviously have this connection, but like, why do you guys think, have you guys asked the question, like why this is happening to you guys specifically, or like why this is, what it is about you two that is making this thing actually happen? Because you guys have said before, when we've talked, that you guys have, grabbed other hands of people and it doesn't work.
Yeah, we definitely don't think we're the only ones, for sure. Since Sam and Colby's videos have come out, we've been contacted by people who have been trying this and saying that they're starting to get little results. But I just think when this is just my opinion, when certain living energy works together really, really well. So I don't think we're just singled out. It definitely seems that maybe it's a little more direct with us for some reason, and we just don't know why.
Right.
We are taking it very seriously though, so like we make certain rules for ourselves, things that we can't do, like we can't take money from the people directly that we're helping with this method of communication. We're also acknowledging that the only reason we feel that we have this is for the sole purpose of helping other people. So it's like, it's not for us, and the only thing we can do is help other people with it. So like that's kind of the things that we've developed with it as well.
So your dad, Jason Haas, he's a huge figure in the paranormal. He's literally like started this. If you're into the paranormal, you know Jason Haas.
Yes.
So like, what does your dad think of these abilities?
Okay, all right. So, my dad at first was very skeptical, which obviously I even was, so that makes perfect sense. Be skeptical. My dad was like, okay, how is this happening? Are they finding information? Things like that. Obviously, he doesn't want to assume that about me, but obviously he's going to look into it because he's Jason Haas. So we started doing sessions and things, and then things would start happening, like he would witness private sessions and people would be crying because they found out information that you can't search up on the internet. Like we were confirming things that happened in privacy. It went went from skepticism to he's definitely like, I don't know how it's happening. It's happening. You can't disprove it. He's tried. And so whatever is working, keep going. Like, keep doing it. So he's very supportive of it. He's like, definitely not my thing, but it's working for you, paving your own way, do it. So he's very supportive.
I guess starting off, what have you guys heard that, like, you guys want to talk about? Like, let's put it in your
Right.
The biggest thing is I think, misunderstanding between the financial things. That's what, and also some of how our method is similar to that of the Fox sisters during the spiritualist movement.
So tell us about what that is.
So the Fox sisters were sisters during the 19th century, 1800s. They had started the spiritualist movement that then in turn became the spiritualism, religion, the spiritualist religion. It's claimed that they would have rapping noises and knocking noises to direct communication. They would get certain knocks for yes, certain raps for no, and then they became so well known and so famous that they were, ultimately doing, seances, telling people their futures, having meetings with important people to help with communicating with the other side. But there are differences to our method to that of the Fox sisters.
The unfortunate thing about film is you can't convey direction very well. Like when you're in the room in person, at least when Satori and I do this, you can hear footsteps coming in from different directions. We've had it coming on the walls before, on the floors above us, below us. So that's one thing that's hard to convey on film. But it's just one of those ridiculous things that it's just unfathomable in our minds that could even be possible for the length of communication that we have and the sound level and everything else. It's just a crazy thought.
When we first started coming out about this, we acknowledged the Fox sisters. We acknowledged that history, that spiritualist religion and the spiritualist movement. If you do your research on their method compared to our method, you will find a lot of differences. There's a lot of conspiracy about, them coming out about it being fake, but also if you do your research, you find that they were offered money to do that and they were financially struggling, and then they recanted the statement. So you wonder, was it actually fake? Also, there's different things like you weren't allowed to see under their dresses, supposedly, from some skeptic claims, like their feet under their dresses. You weren't allowed to, they answered questions about the future, accepted money, things like that, if you do your research.
There's some people, and this is just a question, they don't even have a theory to it, but the question is why does it seem like you're always asking the questions and reciting the alphabet and then you aren't? Is there a reason for that?
No, it's just because I do most of the talking, to be completely honest.
I'm more the quiet one anyway. I've always been more the quiet. I think I sound very boring.
If people want to see Cody doing the talking and reciting, he can do it. We'll make sure to do it the next time we ever do, if we do it again for big YouTube or something like that.
I think it's important because when I saw that question, the only reason I'm bringing it up because then I started to think about our footage. I'm like, oh yeah, you really were talking most of the time.
I go so fast too. That's also something else a lot of people say, you go through the alphabet and talk so fast. Yeah. I'm because I want to get as much as I can out in such a short amount of time.
So someone did a little Reddit post and they were talking about how, Cody, you created a company called Des Tech, which is paranormal equipment, ghost hunting equipment. So there's a theory out there that this could be explaining the knocking noises. This guy used to make paranormal equipment. Really? Why? What could he be doing? Maybe the theory is that you built something since you've made all these pieces of equipment, and that's what the knocking is. It's an actual piece of equipment.
Cody sold cat balls.
I made two pieces of equipment that I never sold. It was just me and my friend Dustin Perry. We made some pieces of equipment that had to do with EVP work.
Video going around from 11 years ago. It's on TikTok. And it's a video of you, Cody, doing an investigation. Must have been for one of the random teams you worked for. And
first team.
Oh, Attleboro, right?
Yep.
I think the start of the video, there's a guy in there and he says something like, Cody, do the ABC thing you were doing.
Yeah.
And then you start counting the ABCs and you guys eventually end up spelling the name Bill. And then it says yes, it's Bill.
His name like we did in the past with the alphabet.
All right. So I'm going to ask you, try figuring out your name here. I'm going to go through the alphabet, and when I get to the first letter of your name, I want you to give me a knock. A. B.
First letter is B.
I.
So is it one for yes, two for no? Is it B-I? Is it Bill? Is your name Bill?
That was a flaw. That wasn't the flaw.
So his name is Bill.
So there's people out there, like the big theory, other than the sisters, is like Cody's been doing this well before he met Satori.
Mastermind.
Yeah, I mean,
Was it like the clicking or the like how
With
is-
the knocks.
Same. Okay, similar.
it's definitely not as intense as what we experienced.
Yeah.
But it is weird for people. But before I even say my opinion, like what do you guys have to say to that?
So it's weird. So when things are happening like that, I mean, back then that was my first group, and when stuff happens like that, you don't think that you're part of that. It's just an experience that's happening, right? And there's been times where we've had some interactions with banging sounds and things like that, and whether I'm a part of that happening, with energy-wise.
Because that is one of those theories where you're like, okay, like he is doing the ABCs, he is getting knocks, so it's definitely, that was the one that's like, okay, I mean, I see why people are being somewhat skeptical.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you also wonder, like, was it the start of something that's now here? Because, I mean, when I was younger, I used to see things all the time. And even still now, sometimes when we do this, I'll sometimes see things.
And maybe that was just an unknown start to what's become.
I think the thing that's throwing people out is the ABC thing, because they're like, what? I thought he said he never did that, and like whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah.
On top of that video of the old video of knocking, there's like a couple of videos out there, people like filming their feet and like doing something in their shoe, and it's making like a tapping noise.
So if you listen carefully, you can control the loudness.
And like it kind of, it's the same people who think the Fox sisters.
Oh, joint popping stuff?
So there's there's one video of a guy like doing something, I don't know what he's doing inside his shoe with his toes, but it is like popping, it's making a weird noise. So like, would you guys be willing to do the session with your shoes off and your socks off, just to show people?
Maybe there have been some people in privacy, and they can speak to it if they want to come forward and talk about it, that have seen it without shoes on. But it was a very closed, very quiet, setting where we had privacy, things like that.
Yeah.
So, but that's their thing to tell. But I don't know if I'd want to do it for everybody, because then they're gonna jump to the next thing that we're faking it somehow with.
It'd be great, I think, to eventually put it to the test, because we're not here to obviously prove or disprove. It's not our job, and it's not your job either. But I think there are some things we could do that would be like
Silence all the haters.
After that, you guys would literally have crossed like all the things that you guys could have possibly done. Like you guys.
It's up to the spirits, truthfully. And I know that sounds super corny, and you have to be in the room to really believe it, but it really is up to them. So it's more, maybe sometime in the future. I think maybe off camera.
Yeah, nice. I think it would help, at least for us and others out there. Like, might as well try it just to show us. And
But it's a big deal. Like, it's people's like thoughts on the afterlife.
Yeah.
Like, this is huge. Like, you are the only people that I know that have that type of ability. So it's like, it is such a big deal, like, to everyone's personal life too. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I'm like, holy cow, it like shifts people's way of thinking.
No matter what, we're not going out of our way to prove ourselves to anybody. Believe in whatever you want, whether it's in support of us or not, and we'll still be doing it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, hey, maybe one day we'll do this barefoot thing on or off camera. It doesn't matter.
He's really trying to push the on camera.
Because that's the main theory, I think, that's got people the most. Like, well, why can't we see him with their... Because, like, if it's joint popping, the only thing that does make sense is a foot. Because it's like all your weight's on that foot. It's probably the easiest thing to pop without making much movement. So I think it would be the best test. Like,
oh, yeah.
Big time.
I think we should do that at some point. Update. She has let me know that at some point in the near future, they will be performing the method without socks or shoes.